My buddy Jonathan was the reason why nerds and jocks ate lunch together. Star quarterback who somehow got the Discord kids talking to cheerleaders. Metalheads helping student council. AP kids at stoner parties. He was the school spark. The kid who made our high school feel like one big friend group instead of 100 separate ones. Summer before junior year, his parents died. Drunk driver hit him head on coming back from his college tours. He came back to school 60 pounds lighter. Hollow eyes, black hoodie pulled up every day. Quit football. Dumped Sarah. Told her to stay away for her own good. Moved in with his grandma who had dementia and forgot his name daily. The kid who never stopped talking hadn't said a word in 2 months. All those friend groups he built started fracturing without him. He ate lunch in empty classrooms, walked with his head down, flinched when lockers slammed. That's when the jokes started. Kevin's definitely gonna shoot up the school. People he'd brought together now made school shooter bingo with squares like, wears black, sits alone, doesn't talk. The group chat he'd created freshman year became a Kevin watch, posting creep shots of him with captions like, day 47 of silence, planning something big. Even I started checking exits when he walked in, sitting where I could see his hands. But I still ate lunch with him in those empty classrooms because that's what friends do. He'd just stare at nothing while everyone placed bets on when he'd snap. Sarah got bullied for dating the future killer. Former teammates crossed hallways to avoid him. The week before Thanksgiving, everything escalated. Monday, Kevin's grandma had a stroke and died alone while he was in chemistry. He found out through the office intercom calling him down. Tuesday, Brad's crew surrounded him in the parking lot, making finger guns, screaming, "Where's your hit list?" loud enough for teachers to hear. They laughed. Tuesday night, someone leaked Kevin's address online with "School shooter lives here. Stay armed." His house got egged, windows broken, killer spray painted across the garage. Neighbors called cops on him for standing in his own yard. Wednesday was catastrophic. Morning started with fake wanted posters in every bathroom. Kevin's yearbook photo with crosshairs. Armed and dangerous. Do not approach. During second period, Brad pulled the fire alarm. When everyone evacuated, he screamed, "Kevin's got a gun." The stampede was instant. Kids trampled. Everyone filming Kevin standing there with empty hands up. Then during lunch, someone actually called 911, told them active shooter Kevin Lopez was in the building. Full lockdown. SWAT. Helicopters. News crews. They slammed him face first into the calculus floor. AR-15s pointed at his head. Zip-tied him while everyone filmed. Searched everything. Found nothing. Principal made Kevin apologize to the school for causing panic. After that, complete isolation. Nobody would go near him. Teachers moved his seat to the back corner. Some refused to call on him. Partners wouldn't work with him. Their parents called threatening to sue. The cafeteria would empty when he walked in. Even freshmen who didn't know him avoided him. Their parents had seen the news. Local students suspected in-school threat. His name forever linked to those headlines. Kevin stopped coming to school. Friday night, 10 days after Kevin disappeared from school. He wasn't answering texts. I couldn't focus on anything, so around 11 p.m. I just drove to his house. His front door was unlocked. Found him in the basement playing Call of Duty, like we used to freshman year. Except there was a Glock 19 on the coffee table next to his Mountain Dew, 2 boxes of ammo. The junior class yearbook opened to our grades photos. 31 faces circled in red. "Yo," he said, not looking away from the screen. "Been waiting for you." I sat on the old couch, staring at the gun. "Oh, that?" He laughed. Actually laughed. "Well, I'm the school shooter, right? Gotta play the part." Something was completely off. The way he laughed. How casual he was. This wasn't depressed Kevin or angry Kevin. This was something else. I was 16 years old, sitting in my friend's basement, watching him treat a loaded gun like a gaming accessory. He paused the game and grabbed his phone from the couch cushion, scrolling through something before turning the screen toward me. The video was shaky security camera footage from what looked like his front hallway. Timestamp showing last Tuesday at 2 p.m. Brad and 4 other guys from the team kicked in the front door while I watched Jonathan's jaw clench. They went straight upstairs to his parents' bedroom, throwing clothes everywhere, smashing picture frames against the walls. Brad grabbed a can of red spray paint from his backpack and wrote "killer" across the wedding photo above the dresser. One of them pissed on the bed. Another dumped out every drawer looking for something. Maybe the gun they thought he had. The video cut to them leaving 20 minutes later with his dad's watch collection and his mom's jewelry box. Jonathan's voice stayed flat when he said the cops told him it was just kids being kids. Boys will be boys. No real harm done. He swiped to another folder on his phone with hundreds of screenshots, photos, videos, every single thing they'd done to him since his parents died. Death threats in his DMS. Pictures of him at the grocery store with captions about target practice. Recordings of Brad's crew following him home chanting "shooter, shooter, shooter." 3 notebooks on the coffee table filled with dates, times, names, everything documented like evidence for a trial that would never happen. My hands were shaking as I flipped through page after page of harassment that nobody had stopped. Jonathan watched me read, then picked up a gun and held it out handle first. Asked if I trusted him. My whole body went cold, but I took it because what else could I do? Feeling how heavy it was, how real, how easy it would be to end someone's life with just one finger movement. He stared at me holding it and said, "Scary, isn't it? Knowing you have that power, knowing you could choose who lives and who dies." I set it down on the table as carefully as possible and told him this wasn't him. This wasn't the Jonathan who brought everyone together, who made our school better. He laughed again, that same wrong laugh, and said that Jonathan died in a car crash with his parents, that the person everyone loved got buried with him, and now there was just whatever this thing was that everyone hated. My eyes caught the family photos covering the walls, his parents smiling at his first football game, at Christmas, at his 16th birthday party just 8 months ago. Jonathan followed my gaze to the one from their last morning together. All 3 of them at breakfast before they left for the MIT campus tour. His voice cracked when he said they were doing it for him, driving 6 hours each way because he wanted to see the engineering program, and if he hadn't begged them to go that weekend, they'd still be alive. The guilt in those words felt like drowning. We sat there in silence until his eyes started closing around 3 a.m., the controller slipping from his hands as he dozed off on the couch. I stayed awake watching him sleep, the gun still sitting there between us on the coffee table like a test I didn't know how to pass. Part of me wanted to take it, hide it, call someone, but I knew that would just prove everyone right about him being dangerous. Another part wondered if maybe they were right. Around 4 a.m., I covered him with the old blanket from the back of the couch and just sat there in the dark trying to figure out what to do. The sunrise came through the basement windows, and I must have dozed off because I woke up to the smell of eggs and bacon. Jonathan was in the kitchen acting almost normal, humming some song from freshman year while he cooked breakfast like we used to do after sleepovers. The gun was gone from the table. He slid a plate toward me and mentioned he was thinking about Monday, whether he should go back to school or not. Said everyone was expecting him to do something and asked what if he just didn't show up at all. Before I could answer, my phone buzzed with text from Sarah asking if I'd seen Jonathan, if he was okay, because the group chat was going crazy with Brad's crew posting about finishing what they started it on Monday, about making sure the shooter problem got solved permanently. I showed Jonathan the messages, and he didn't even look surprised, just kept eating his eggs and said they wouldn't stop until something broke, either them or him, no middle ground anymore. After breakfast, he pulled out his laptop and showed me emails between him and some lawyer his parents had used for their will. The lawyer said he had a strong case against the school for failure to protect him, that the evidence was overwhelming, but warned it would take years and probably make things worse before they got better. Jonathan laughed at that last part and said justice through proper channels was the biggest joke he'd ever heard. We went outside even though it was freezing, sitting on the deck chairs his dad had built last summer, and for the first time since the accident, he actually talked about his parents, how his mom would have known exactly what to say to make this better, how she always had the right words when things got bad, how his dad would have walked into that school and raised hell until someone listened, would have protected him like fathers are supposed to protect their sons. He stared at the empty house next door where his grandmother used to live before the dementia got bad, before she forgot his name, before the stroke took her too. His voice got quiet when he said he was 17 years old and completely alone, that everyone who was supposed to protect him was gone, and everyone left wanted him gone too. I'm trying to understand how Jonathan went from being the person who connected everyone to becoming so isolated. Did losing his parents somehow break whatever special thing he had that made people trust him? The doorbell rang hard 3 times and we both froze. Jonathan grabbed the gun from the coffee table and shoved it behind the couch cushion. He pointed at the yearbook and I closed it fast, sliding it under a pile of old magazines. Through the basement window we could see red and blue lights flashing against the house. Jonathan went upstairs first and I followed, my hands shaking. 2 cops stood at the door with their hands on their holsters. Behind them I could see Sarah in her car, her face white. The officers asked if everything was okay, and Jonathan smiled, actually smiled, like nothing was wrong. He showed them the broken windows from last night, the spray paint on the garage, the eggs dried on the siding. His voice stayed flat and calm while he explained how kids had been attacking his house for weeks. The younger cop kept looking past him into the house, trying to see inside. Jonathan stepped aside and invited them in, which made my stomach